Today's topic is crowdsourcing, and I will begin with an introduction. The motivation for me researching this topic at all, as you heard earlier, one of the things I do here at Price is I create and maintain software cost estimating models. And at a conference I attended about a year ago, I heard a young lady discussing crowdsourcing, and first of all, it's pretty much a fascinating topic in and of itself, but it's also a topic that I think will have implications going forward in the software industry with respect to things like how we think about cost and schedule and quality. So today I will introduce the topic. I'll talk about crowdsourcing, and I'll talk about it in general because, as I said, it's a fairly interesting topic in and of itself. I'll talk about some of the advances of crowdsourcing in the software development arena, discuss what the benefits are, what are the challenges, particularly for people who would like to employ a software or a crowdsourcing model for some or all of their software development enterprise. Some examples of crowdsourcing. I'll go into a little bit more detail about the different software development platforms that there are for crowdsourcing, and then I'll finish up with some thoughts on the cost, schedule, and quality issues. And I think it's pretty much in its infancy from a software development perspective, so my thoughts are more thoughts than hard and fast, driven by data conclusions. But there's some interesting things for us to think about as a software industry, and there's, I think, things going forward that will help the software industry or members in the software industry who would like to take advantage of crowdsourcing as part of, or all of their software development process. So what crowdsourcing is, it's basically using the power of the crowd. It's the practice of using a crowd or a bunch of people to solve a problem or accomplish a task. The idea has been around for a long time. Think about Wikipedia. Wikipedia is a well-known instance of crowdsourcing. People define things on Wikipedia, and anyone can go there and they can make modifications. And it's policed, it's maintained by the crowd, and it's policed by the crowd. Advances in technology have created an environment where it's now easy and effective to engage a community of interested persons to help solve many different kinds of problems. So, for example, design of things, whether they be software, whether they be logos. A company who doesn't know, who wants to rebrand their company, wants to develop a new logo, throws it out to the crowd and says, give me your best ideas. People use crowdsourcing to design websites. Sort of rapidly emerging application of crowdsourcing is using crowdsourcing to test software applications. So instead of just using in-house resources to test a software application, an organization may, through a crowdsource medium, may send it to the crowd and say, I need somebody I need people to look at the ease of use of my application, for example. Documentation is another area where crowdsourcing has been used. Crowdfunding, which is the funding and supporting of innovation. Someone may want to write a book and can't afford to publish it, but may, through crowdfunding, find people interested in the topic, interested enough, convinced enough by whatever information the author provides, interested enough to maybe contribute $15, $20 towards that effort. And you get enough people to contribute $15, $20, you fund something. You could do it for fundraising as well. Kaggle is a website, but it's a crowdsourcing platform as well, where companies pose complex mathematical or algorithmic challenges, and they open them up to the crowd, and then the winning solution or solutions, there's prizes, there's cash prizes, there's recognition, things like that. Basically crowdsourcing is a way for an organization or a university or any entity to extend the reaches of their internal staff to broaden the pool of creativity and innovation. So many will argue that effective and sensible applications of software development via crowdsourcing can create opportunities to improve both cost, schedule, and quality of the software application. And in this paper, we're going to discuss crowdsourcing in general, software development in a crowdsourcing platform, and then, as I said, we'll talk a little bit about cost, schedule, and quality considerations for ones considering crowdsourcing. So the expression was coined as a portmanteau, which I had to look up. That means a linguistic blend of words, the words being crowd and outsourcing. So it's a participative online activity. Individuals, institutions, nonprofits, companies, they propose the voluntary undertaking of a task or set of tasks of varying complexity and modularity. They propose this to a group of individuals of different backgrounds, different knowledge sets, heterogeneous, not a homogeneous group. And this call for participation is issued online, generally through a crowdsourcing platform, and I'll talk more about crowdsourcing platforms in a minute. Some well-known examples. I already mentioned Wikipedia, which is maintained and policed by a crowd of interested people, a crowd of people who are interested not only in sharing their knowledge, but in creating an environment where the knowledge that's being shared has some credibility, some backbone. So while one often will hear, don't believe everything you hear or read or see on the internet, Wikipedia is a fairly authoritative source, and in cases where the knowledge that you get from Wikipedia is questionable, you'll see that because the crowd is policing it. The Linux operating system as well. This was an operating system that was literally being maintained, updated, improved by its users. And then there's commercial applications of it. For example, the company Lay's that makes potato chips. They annually, I believe, have a do-yourself a flavor contest where so people suggest what the perfect flavor for a potato chip would be. They submit some information about that, what the main ingredients would be, and the top three, the ones judged to be the top three submissions by the Lay's company, are then test marketed, and there is I think $1 million prize for the person whose flavor wins. Using the crowd. So Lay's is taking advantage of this crowdsourcing opportunity to innovate potato chip flavors. It can be either competitive, so that somebody wins or some set of people who compete win. So in a highly competitive situation, such as the do-yourself-a-flavor contest, many will compete because it's very easy to do, and your time investment is small compared to the payoff, but very few will win. I think the three top, the winner gets, I believe, $1 million, and I believe that the other two of the top three get some sort of cash compensation as well. It could also be non-competitive or collaborative, so that groups of individuals work together to accomplish tasks. And so these groups of individuals are people with a common interest who like development and want to extend their software development skills, for example. So they take on a task working with other people who have different areas of expertise, and through this collaborative process, they're improving their own knowledge and expanding their knowledge and their ability to do their job. So crowdsourcing. I talked about crowdfunding, where projects are funded by a large group of people who are interested in a particular project.